Hey vinyl community, Jeff here with another little update on some things that I recently got in. So this connects back with my record store day video that I did on Saturday. I mentioned going to a second store and also picking up some stuff. So this is the stuff I picked up that was non-record store day related. So just explain this real briefly. The second store, I go there all the time. They have a lot of stuff. The majority of their store is used stuff, and almost everything in the store is priced at $7.99. And then they have like one whole row of new material. So they have a lot of used stuff, and they get stuff in all the time. So I go in there, and they have a section where they have stuff that came in the past like 3 weeks before it gets into the regular stock. But on record store day, the guy who brings the records to that particular store, he brings in extra boxes. I don't know if this guy must go to shows or something. I'm not sure where, the stock comes from. But aside from the stock in the store, he has extra. So on record store day, they come in and they set up tables in front of the regular bins of used stuff. And then they put boxes, of about, 100, 50, 75 records per box, all the way down in front of all of the rows. So there's 1, 2, 3 more entire rows of records, and they're only there for the weekend, and they tell you that they're only there for the weekend. Then I guess the guy takes it and goes. So anyway, I went ahead and spent some time there. I was totally alone this weekend. Everybody in my family across the entire city, pretty much except my son, was out of town. My wife was out of town. All of my daughters were out of town, even though they don't live here. They're just all out of town. So I totally had nothing to really do. And so I went ahead and spent time looking through all of those boxes, and I found some good stuff. So let's jump into this. I got the Jacksons. Now, this is the Victory album that came out in 1984. This is the one, with the whole, I think, was connected to the whole Coke commercial and all that stuff with the hair catch on fire. Michael comes back. There was the album Triumph that came out before this. I'm trying to think, was that before or after Michael's big solo album? Anyway, in that same time frame. So this was when Michael was reaching out on his own, but the Jacksons had an album. And I picked this up because a while back I showed the video that I had with the Destiny album that I bought by the Jacksons, which was the late 70s. One of the only albums I had back in the day. That same store had this. It had Triumph. I think it didn't have the live album. So there's like Destiny, and then I think Triumph, a live album, and Victory. And these were all the last ones when Michael came back. And to me, they sound a lot like Michael Jackson's albums because he sings a lot of the time. So great stuff. But when I picked up Destiny, I didn't pick up this one at that store, and then I went back and looked at it, and it was like $15. So when I found it at this store, and it looks new, I found it there for $7.99. I had to jump on it at that point. So yeah, I do still want to get Triumph at some point, which is the one before this. And if I can get the live album, that'd be great. But yeah, to me, this is all very much similar to Michael's stuff. So it's just like having more Michael Jackson albums. Yeah, so I went ahead and grabbed that. That was one of the great finds I had. 1985, Lonnie Mack. Now, I've had, what is it? Strike Like Lightning. I was going to say the wrong word. I've had this on CD for a couple decades. Now, Lonnie, that's the only thing I've ever heard by Lonnie Mack. He has been around since the 60s. He's a blues, rock, southern type guitar player. Been around since the 60s. This is 1985. And the only reason this was on my radar, the only reason I had this for the past couple decades is because it was produced by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he plays on most of the tracks. So it's got Lonnie Mack with Stevie Ray Vaughan. So, the late Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan within reason. I have most all of his CDs. Still haven't got anything on vinyl by Stevie, but they have been reissued and stuff. I just haven't picked any up. So this is my first one that I've got. Well, no, I've got that one with B.B. King. Is that the one? But that was actually VCLT from JC, which was great because I want some Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I just haven't, picked it up yet. So this is it. And like I said, I've had this for a while, so I'm really going to enjoy this. This was great, a great find. And this one, again, do people just, I'm glad. I don't mind. They buy the records. They never play them because then they can give them to me and they're like brand new. And then this was cool. This was one of the first ones I found, and that's Uriah Heep, Fallen Angel. Now, I was never much into Uriah Heep. Everybody in the VC talks about Uriah Heep. I know that they're a classic band. I have a lot of their stuff digitally and have had their stuff digitally for years. So now I'm picking up the vinyl whenever I get a chance. I don't think I have bought any of the... They've been reissued, remastered, all that stuff. Everything I've got so far is original. And so this is the latest one I've got by them. It's 1978. The other ones I got like Salisbury, and I got the Magician one. So I've got the ones from the early 70s. I got a long way to go. They have a ton of albums. This is my fourth album, I believe, by them. And this is, like I say, the latest, the most recent of theirs, 78. When I was growing up as a teenager, the only album that I was aware of that I had at that day was Abominog. Cover was kind of creepy, but I remember having that album and really enjoying it. I have yet to find that in the wild. Working my way up to it, that is in the 80s albums. So far, you can typically find a lot of their 70s stuff out there, not always in the greatest condition. This one was like very good plus. It was just in great condition. And so I went ahead and grabbed that. So that was a great find for me too. Now this was the ultimate find, and really it wasn't that big of a deal until I, the guy at the counter, and then thinking back at it. But I got the fourth Led Zeppelin album, whatever you want to call it. It's just called Led Zeppelin, I guess. The fourth album. So I have the first. I'm picking up the Zeppelin stuff on vinyl. I have everything on CD. I have all those comps and everything they give me every one of the albums. So I'm a Zeppelin fan. I just haven't picked up a lot of the vinyl. All the ones I've got so far, except one of them, I think are original. My son bought me 3, and it's one of the remasters. But I have Houses of Holy, and I don't have 1 and 2. I got 3 and Houses of Holy. And I think maybe this is the only other one. I don't know. There's maybe 3 or 4 in there. This I picked up, and it was in the area of the $7.99 boxes. There was a stack of records in the area with it was right there with the boxes. This album, they have copies of at that store, but they typically have this in the rare albums, where they basically price them accordingly. And they have this album for $25, usually, along that line, things like that. So I was surprised it was in that album section, so I grabbed it and I put it in my thing. So I get to the counter and the guy's like, well, where'd you get this from? And I said, it was over there with the $7.99 albums. He goes, huh. He said, okay. And he started looking around because the guy who brought the boxes albums, he's in the store, wandering around. It's a crowded store. And he's looking, he's like, let me check on this because I'm thinking this is probably one of the 30 ones. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And he's looking, and he just kind of, and then he kind of gives up. He's like, he just looks around and he's like, never mind. He says, tell you what, I don't care. He says, I don't care. You got off today. He said, I'm not even going to check. It's $7.99. It's yours. So again, I wasn't assuming that there was a problem with that, but I guess he was assuming that nobody sells this Led Zeppelin album for under $20-something. So he was going to check on it, but then he's like, you know what? Happy Record Store Day. I had some stuff from Record Store Day too. So he's just like, take it. You got lucky today. I'm not even worried about it. I don't care. And so, yeah, I got this. And it was in good condition too. Now, I did bring all these home because I have been, about a while back, I did that video on the Vevor ultrasonic cleaner that I did. And I finally, about a week ago, pulled it out again and done some more record cleaning. And then when I got these in, I got home because one of them had some fingerprints on it. And they looked really great condition, but they had fingerprints. So I pulled out the cleaner and I ran them through the cleaner, and they look new. I've been impressed with that inexpensive ultrasonic cleaner I got. It's done. It makes the records look as good as when I used to hand scrub them. I've been impressed. I went through last night and continued cleaning other albums that I'd bought in the past just to make use of the water before I dumped it out. And the water was visibly dirt. I should have took a picture. The water was visibly had stuff floating in it. So it was it definitely did a job. I probably cleaned them 2 at a time. People were pointing out on the video I did when they put 4 albums together that they're really close together, and they said that they may not get those bubbles in there to get them clean enough. So I've been doing them 2 records at a time with with the big spacers in between, so the records have a big gap in between rather than having two more in there. There's a gap, and the albums have been coming out really, really shiny clean. And like I said, the water had all kinds of floaties in it. And yeah, I probably did, like I say, probably get 20 albums last night, 2 at a time. I just was grabbing old stuff, even stuff I have hand cleaned, cleaning it up. Anyway, fun stuff. That's the rest of my Record Store Day finds. Non-Record Store Day related finds on Record Store Day. Some great fillers. 2 from the 70s, 2 from the 80s. And that's it for this one. Thanks a lot for watching. Rock on and rock hard.